Hey guys, Chris Ross here. I want to talk a little bit about some of the old school tactics and new school tactics that some financial advisors are using. One of the most old school ways to go about getting in front of your ideal client is obviously using mailers and driving people to an in-person event. While that still does work, you are limited geographically as to the number of clients that you can capture at any given point in time. And one of the more new school ways that you can go about doing this is using webinars. Webinars offer unlimited potential because you're not restricted geographically. If you have the desire to be a virtual financial advisor and you can work with anyone anywhere in the United States, then really you have no reason not to do webinars, because this is going to give you access to a much larger audience. It's going to give you access to a much lower cost per lead, and also give you the ability to help find more of who your ideal client profile may be, because there's a lot more doctors in the United States than there may be in Dallas, for example, if you only work with doctors in Dallas. So webinars are definitely the way to go in order to continue to grow and scale your practice. So today, what I'm going to get into is 5 strategies that you can deploy in your practice that will give you the ability to do webinars anywhere in the United States and reach your ideal client. Let's get into it. If you want to use webinars in order to generate leads, there are several steps that you may need to take, but the first thing that you need to do is focus on a problem-solving topic. And what I mean by that is you really want to focus on the segment of the market that is most aware or problem aware. Because if you are focusing on the segment of your market that is problem aware, it is going to be less of an effort to get people to understand what it is that you do and how you solve that particular problem. And there will be less selling on the front end because you don't need to explain to them the problem that they have. So for example, a lot of our clients tend to focus on taxes and retirement. And the reason why that is because everybody wants to pay less money in taxes. You don't need to explain a tax problem to anyone who has several $1,000,000 saved. So by simply just focusing on the fact that you are able to help mitigate taxes in retirement, that will go a long way in getting a lot of interest in people who will want to sign up for your webinar. Step 2 in the process to using webinars in order to generate more leads for your practice is going to come to promotion. Now, one of the very first things that you definitely want to do to promote your webinar is to send that to your existing list. A lot of advisors already have an existing drip list, or people who have already opted in for a previous webinar or seminar. Because you have likely built some know, like, and trust with these individuals, it is going to be much easier to get those people to sign up for your webinar and or subsequently take action on the webinar at the end. The other part of that is going to be knowing where your ideal client tends to hang out online. So for a lot of advisors, most of your clients are going to be on social media, and they're more than likely going to be on Facebook. The demographic of people who are 50 plus is a steady growing demographic on Facebook, and that is one of the #1 marketing channels that I would recommend in order to promote your webinar. So if you're looking to promote your webinar, this is actually one of the main services that we offer here in the agency, and we've helped over 100 advisors do webinars all across the United States on various topics using our dynamic audience matching system. If you want to learn more about that, click the link in the description below. Step number 3 is going to be deliver value. And what I mean by that is this is where you really want to focus on the most pressing problems that you know your ideal client has. If there's anything that clients tend to resonate with the most, is really knowing that someone understands their problem more than they understand their particular problem. So if you are able to demonstrate how life would be for a retiree based upon a particular scenario, and you can walk them through what their problem is, what happens if they don't solve that problem, and how you are able to resolve that problem for them, that will go a long way in building trust and also giving them the opportunity and the belief that you can help solve that problem, which subsequently will cause them to want to book a consultation with you. And this leads me to the next thing, which is the pitch. Now, the pitch is going to be one of the more important parts of your webinar, webinar, because this is what's going to give people the ability to book this consultation with you. And one of the things that I believe in the most is being authentic about what's going to happen when someone reaches out to you. And what we tend to see that works best is to get people into what we may call a right fit call or get to know you session, right? So this gives the person the ability to learn a little bit more about you and your practice, and then also for you to learn a little bit more about them, but also give you the ability to qualify that particular individual so that you can understand whether or not this is going to be someone that you can serve at a high level or not. And this isn't about selling or anything of that particular nature on this initial call. This really is just the first step in a multi-step process that is going to lead to this person becoming a client for you. One of the last steps in this particular process is going to be the follow-up. Now, this is where most people tend to fail. And the reason why most people fail at the follow-up is because we're so focused on getting that client and getting them in the door immediately. And if you have enough consultations and enough clients that are coming in the door, you tend to forget about all those other leads that reached out to you at some particular point in time. But what you have to remember is no one reaches out to a financial advisor unless they have some kind of interest or some kind of problem that they need to have solved. So if you have the ability to follow up with individuals, whether that is putting them on a drip campaign that speaks to the particular problem that they have and how you are able to solve it, and or if you have a team of advisors or setters that can reach out to those individuals, that will go a long way in getting more consultations booked, which is ultimately going to lower your client acquisition costs. All right, guys, so this is the quick and dirty way in order to easily get started with webinars in your practice. And I will be doing a future video on how to create an effective drip campaign so that you can continue to follow up with these leads. So be sure to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.